Do you hunger for deeper connections with people, more authentic conversations? If so, you're going to love this video because I'm going to share how you can make that happen. And it might seem like that just automatically happens or randomly happens with the right person at the right moment in the right situation. It's kind of like luck or something, and it's few and far between, and you got to deal with all these like superficial, not that satisfying connections and conversations. But actually, it's not just luck. And there's certain things that you can do to radically increase the percentage of your connection time to make it way more nourishing, way more authentic, way more truly connected, not just being around people kind of squawking at each other like flamingos, but actually really sharing and being seen and known. And I'm going to share in this video how to do that, but also I'm going to share some of the reasons that we don't, that we actually have these blocks or fears or pitfalls that prevent you from creating those connections that can get in the way. So I'm excited to share this with you. If you're benefiting from this video and enjoy it along the way, please click the like button down below so I can help find more people who need social confidence and help them become more fully themselves in the world. So authentic connections, how does it even work? How are those created? What makes something an authentic connection? Well, basically it involves you being able to share on a deeper level in a couple ways. One deeper level might be about your feelings and your experiences of things that matter to you in your life. So when people talk about, obviously the weather being the most superficial example, but even politics or just kind of what's going on. We went here, we did this, I work here, I took my kids there. It's about them, but I call this safe personal data. It's just a bunch of information, and that's not bad or wrong. It's important. You might want to know those things. It might be interesting to you, but usually it doesn't create a deeper sense of connection. What creates the deeper sense of connection is when someone tells you about how they feel about their kids or how they feel about that work situation, whether it's positive or quote negative. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to share the negative stuff, but actually it's all the feelings that create a deeper sense of connection. But also, it's not just feelings. We can also go deeper into maybe what's happening right now. Like, oh, this is what I'm wanting right now. Or I noticed you did that and I'm curious, do you want this? Like someone's there with you in the moment. That is extremely connecting. And we all instantly are drawn into being with that person. So going a layer deeper is what creates that authentic experience. And it doesn't, sometimes people think that means you have to reveal really private, personal, when I was 9 years old, here's this thing that happened. And I call that deep authenticity. You might go there with the right person in the right moment over like way later in a relationship. It doesn't have to be on day one, but you can have authentic connections that don't involve sharing your deepest, darkest secrets, just sharing what's real and true in the moment, which actually brings me to the next point, which is being seen and being known, which is where the magic is and where our first pitfall comes in, which is being able to share what you're feeling on a deeper level about something or what's really happening for you in the moment. That is going to allow people to know you and see you, right? And you might say, well, people are seeing me all the time, right? When they're talking to you, I don't mean literally with their eyeballs, visually seeing you. I mean seeing what's really there, right? Because I could talk to you for an hour and I could tell you about 75 things going on in my life, and maybe I'm upbeat as I share all those things with you, and you're knowing stuff about me and information, but you might not really be knowing me, right? Because we don't have that feeling layer. We don't really feel like we know the person. I know a lot about you, but do I really know you? And you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever had a conversation like that with someone where you chat with them for a while, but you just didn't feel much connection? Well, you probably didn't get to that deeper layer. And so you want to just think of letting people know you, the real you, what's really happening, not just my front, my persona, the things that I say, oh, I feel positive about this and here's my positive attitude. And no, but the whole spectrum of emotion and experience. Enter the first pitfall. People seeing me and knowing me, this is like, they're not going to like it. You might have a lot of hangups about, I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't be anxious. I shouldn't be negative. I shouldn't dislike this. I should only feel positive. And so there's a fear around being vulnerable and being seen and known, because you imagine that that's going to be judged, rejected. It's going to create disconnection. And so you keep it at that superficial or safe personal data level. But then the irony is people don't really connect with you, and maybe they don't harshly reject you, but they don't pursue you. They don't necessarily want more because you're not giving them much. And so there's not much depth there, but people come back again and again and again for depth. Depth is how people fall in love with you, want to become your best friend, want to just be around you because they feel so much of you. It's just a big leap of faith. It's a risk. And I know for me, having spent so many years with social anxiety and hating who I was, the idea of like, you can just be you and share you and people will like it. It's like, really? And so I had to practice that. I had to test that out. And I have faith that as you test that out in your life, you will find that actually people do respond positively. And that you might seem like, oh, they're not going to like this, but then, people do. And there's a profound sense of relief in being seen and known. And then you want more. You want to share more. They want to share more, which leads to the next point is how to create this in your life. I found that you need to be the leader. You might just be around someone who's doing this and then you can jump right in and meet them there. But a lot of people might not do this. I see this all the time with clients. I'm asking them about their goals and our work together. And one of them is social confidence. They want more friends or deeper connections. And they might even have friends in their life, but they're not that satisfying. They're not that deep. They're not that authentic. And I ask them about those conversations and experiences, and neither person has taken the risk. I remember I was working with a gentleman and he went to this biking trip with some friends and, they've been doing this for like 15 years. These guys get together every year and they go on this big biking trip and spend the night together, many nights in a row and travel and all this stuff. There's about 4 or 5 of them. And the conversations were just so superficial, safe personal data, a lot of banter too, but he wanted a depth. And none of them over 15 years had taken the risk. And so I was sharing with him something very similar that I'm sharing with you and encouraging him to be the one in the group to take the risk. And he didn't even see himself. He's not like the leader in the group. He's not the loudest guy in the group. And I was like, well, maybe there's already the loudest guy and the leader guy. Maybe the group needs the authentic and the depth. And maybe that's what you bring. And so he did that. The next time he went there, he asked questions about the deeper layer. So someone's sharing a bunch of stuff and like, well, how did you feel when they did that? Or, ooh, I imagine that was uncomfortable. Did you feel scared? Right? Like bringing people down, asking, or even sharing in the moment about what he's noticing. Oh, when you're sharing that, I'm like, I feel so much love. I appreciate you. Like stuff like that. And he was, at first it was like, oh my gosh, if I'm going to do that, they're going to be like, look at this weirdo. Get out of here with your feelings. Actually, and this is where I can't make you do this. I can only lead you and point the way across the chasm. You got to take that leap in your own life. I'm not in your life, right? You're in your life. And this client was in his life. He was ready to take that leap and he tested it out and it changed everything. He said it was the most connecting, nourishing weekend he'd ever had with this group. And the next time they did this, he said it was like a whole different thing. Like everyone was being more deep with each other. It's like he unlocked something. And some part of me was like, of course we want that, right? I mean, why are they getting together? Why are they spending these 3-4 days together? Like they're looking for something. They're trying to get deeper and they just needed to be guided. And you can be that guide for others. You can lead them. It just takes courage. It takes a willingness. And you don't have to be super suave and skillful. In fact, it can kind of feel messy. It's just you being you. And that's really the essence of the message here is it takes this willingness to try it, to do it, to practice it. And it is like a muscle because the default, I get it in conversations, is to go superficial and share information and okay, see you later. Whew. No one saw me and knew me and judged me. Is that really what you want? Is that really creating the connections in the life that you want? And trust me, once you get a taste of this, once you start to experience this more in your life, you're not going to settle for less. So all the friendships in my life, in order to have a deep friendship with someone, and I have a limited amount of time with family and business and all the things that I want to create and do and spend time with my wife. If there's time with social connection and friendships, like, man, this has got to be nourishing. I don't want to just kind of fritter away that time. And so if someone can't go there and can't meet me, I'll try to bring it there. And if they don't want to go there, it's kind of like a buoy that wants to go back to the surface again and again. I'll just be like, okay, they're not bad. I don't hate them. It's just, that's not how I want to spend my social time. So the friendships I have, we can be playful on the surface or share what's going on in our lives on a more, a data level. And then we can drop right down to how we're feeling, what's happening in the moment, our core experience of life right now. And then I'm charged up and I'm nourished and I'm able to go bring that to new people. I'm able to bring that to a person I just met. I'm able to bring that to my family members who might not be as used to going deeper like that. I can be more of a leader because I got my base, right? I'm like, oh, this is normal. This is what I do with my friends. And so instead of being ashamed about it, it's like, no, I'm going to bring this to my dad and my brother. And I've seen positive effects in all those relationships. My brother opens up to me like never before. My dad, even in his mid-70s, has started sharing more openly and authentically about his feelings with me. And just the other day, he sent this message to me and I was reading it. I looked up to Candace and I was like, who is this guy? Sending me these things. It's so different than ever before. And it wasn't because he just spontaneously decided one day, right? It was because I led to create that, like basically saying, hey, let's do this. Do you want to do friendship this way with me? Or in this case, do you want to do father-son dynamic with me in this way? And I'm getting more yeses. And I bet you will too. So why don't you share down below in the comments what you're finding most valuable about this? And I would love to read those. And also, if you're really curious about how to create deeper connections, there's a whole called the layers of connection or levels of connection. I go in my course, Social Mastery, which is part of Confidence University. You can check out at theconfidenceuniversity.com. I guide people through and what kinds of questions to ask. So there's a lot of abilities and skills that you can develop here. But the key takeaway from this video is it's a willingness to risk and to try it out. And man, it changes everything for the better in profound ways. So thanks for being with me today. Until we speak again, may you have the courage to be who you are and to know on a deep level that you're awesome.